Backwoods Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris. Oh, how you doing today, Hewitt?
I got vomited on.
Oh, yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah, like 30, 40 minutes ago, or maybe an hour ago at this point. My child decided to force projectile spit up a bottle that had been sitting there, and I had to change shirts.
Yeah, she seems pretty rowdy today, actually.
She's been pretty good. She slept a lot because we went to the Celtic Fest over at Lazare Park.
Lazare Park?
However you wish to pronounce it. But we went to that, and she slept the entire time, so she's up tonight. And I have wiped my arm down, and I've changed shirts. I can still smell it.
The joys of parenthood.
Yeah, it's just been 9 years.
True. But we're not here to talk about the joys of parenthood. I could. Well, you could. I have dogs, which not really the same, but
having a fur baby is not that different. You still have your trials and tribulations, like a dog deciding that it's going to shit 5 pounds in the middle of your floor.
Yeah, 100-pound dog.
It shits a smaller dog into the room.
Yeah. But no, we're here to talk about the Rougarou. Now, this is a silly question because I know I already know the answer to this.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Rougarou?
Yeah, he lives in Louisiana, maybe somewhere about 6'1", 6'2".
Bleep that out.
You can bleep it out later between bleep and bleep. Anyway, yeah, about 6'2", long black hair, big beard. Plays D&D with us.
Look, Knox, we're not trying to dox you. It just happened naturally. Hewitt just decided to do that.
He's going to bleep it. Future Chris is going to bleep it.
Okay, so the Rougarou, something that we know about through cultural osmosis, being Louisiana boys.
True.
Not technically Cajun.
Neither one of us are.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any French in you?
No, I am all Irish. Just Irish all the way down.
I'm a European mutt plus Mexico.
Yeah, it's weird. I took a DNA test and it was like, Ireland.
It's like, hey, here's your DNA test. You know where they make white people? That's where you were made.
Exactly. But we come from a place where there is a lot of romanticizing of these tales, and it always kind of makes its way up there. So we've heard a little bit about the Rougarou here in North Louisiana.
And to be fair, anybody that's actually been to the Louisiana Purchase Garden and Zoo, when you go through the alligator and snapping turtle exhibit, you're going to go by a really weird jackalope statue that used to be 1,000 times scarier before Katrina. Then there's whatever they made that's there to represent the Rougarou that looks like Pokey from Gumby mixed with a rabbit with glowing red eyes. And like as a kid, I remember being way scarier, but I think it might have been my imagination of that was Swamp Thing with a spear.
When you're a kid, that shit's way
but now if I'm coming through, it's like a wacky inflatable tube man mixed with pool noodles made brown with big old rabbit ears.
There could have been a time when they redid it.
I'm thinking that they had to redo it after Katrina. Because, but anyway, if you're going through there, you've seen a statue of it, and there's plenty of things here in Louisiana that are connected to that. Like, you gotta watch them toes. You gotta put 13 pennies out. Which, by the way, 13 penny rum from down in South Louisiana, the Rougarou rum, the 13 penny is their spiced rum. We haven't had that in a minute, but it was good.
I haven't had hard liquor in a minute. I'm in my 30s. You're nearly in your 40s. I stick to soft liquor. What is beer called?
Liquid bread.
Liquid bread. I stick to liquid bread. But
I mean, technically, if you drink a beer, you have nearly endless soup, salad, and breadsticks. Because especially if the spices make it the right way.
That is true. But for those of you who don't know, the Rougarou is basically the Cajun werewolf. People call it the Cajun werewolf, but as we're going to go through now, it's not actually... It's hard to call it really a werewolf in the traditional sense, at least. So, first off, let's go over like where it came from. The Rougarou is a derivative of Lougarou, which is a French pronunciation.
Right, and that's actually what I got some research on, but because I mean, this is one of the few times when we do this. It's not one of us telling a story to the other one. We both have info on this one.
Yeah, and you have all the information on...
Not all.
Well, you have all the information in terms of, like, the scant research we did. Like, just to be clear, we could make, like, a 4-hour episode on the Rougarou, but...
And still not even dip our toes anywhere near the deep end of this.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, here's the deal. You and I are coming from, random redacted direction of Louisiana.
The vaguely northern end.
See, I said redacted so you wouldn't have to bleep what area.
Oh, damn it.
Anyway.
Now I hear Freya like, why'd you say that?
Uncle Chris, why?
Why?
Anyway, we know about the Rougarou through research and stories and the bull crap that makes it up here with the LSU merchandise in a box. But the big thing is that down south, there are people who legit believe in this cryptid, and they will tell their kids to be afraid of it. And as much as we joked about Knox, there is somebody in New Orleans that's a tangential friend.
Yeah.
That literally has Knox in their cell phone as the Rougarou so he can show it to his sons.
And the thing is...
if you don't act right, I will call the Rougarou right now.
Yeah, and the thing is, when it comes to this, even if you don't necessarily believe in it, and you're going to hear us a lot talk about Louisiana skepticism, which is...
I believe it, but I ain't going to try to go prove it wrong.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who don't necessarily believe it, but they're going to act like it's true just because they don't want to test it. And it's had an effect on the culture to the extent that... even if people don't realize they're acting in that way, it still has like a cultural. It has its fingers all over the culture.
I mean, it's like the phrase "gonna get them toes."
Yeah,
a mama might tell somebody "gonna get them toes," and they know you're talking about the Rougarou, the boogeyman. Or, and this is one of the things I didn't realize the first time I went to New Orleans as an adult on my own, that there are people who put 13 pennies. Like, they have them glued or cemented into the doorstep of their property. Like, that's like the horseshoe above the door kind of thing.
And there's like sayings that came, like, I made the Rougarou last night, which sounds very dirty.
I made the Rougarou last night. We don't talk about that in church, Peter.
But it actually just means you couldn't sleep. Just means you had a messy night's sleep. I kind of like that phrase. I met the Rougarou, or I made the Rougarou. Yeah.
To explain why I didn't sleep well last night. That's actually really. I'm glad you included that.
And the thing is, it's also, as we're going to get into it, we're going to talk about things where the Rougarou actually influenced things like, obviously, tales, like folk tales, always have a point to them. Like, you don't go out in the woods because the Fae will get you. You don't touch strange animals because something will happen. There's always an underlying reason that's more grounded in quote unquote real life. But
there's a lesson, like, you don't touch that strange dog.
Yeah.
Also, let's be fair. You don't go out in the swamp at night.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. You tell a kid, you tell anybody, don't go out in the swamp at night. Okay, we're Americans. That's not doxing ourselves. You tell me I can't go out in the swamp at night? There's a tiny part of me.
I'm going to go out the fucking swamp.
I know, right? Like, there's a tiny part of me that goes, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, especially if there's a little bit of liquid bread in there. It's like, I want to go see what's out in that swamp tonight.
Also, I'm just going to say that, like, the most American trope and trait is going to be pettiness.
True. It's just like, you're going to sit here and tell me I'm not going to go out in the swamp? Fuck you, I'm going out in the swamp.
And then you realize why you are not going out in the swamp.
It's like, oh no, my entrails, they're everywhere.
No, I think it's more of, Dad a snake.
Oh yeah, there's also snakes. Yeah,
here's
just
the thing:
general wildlife.
Before we get into alligators and before we get into snapping turtles and all the other mean creatures that live in the swamp, mosquitoes and snakes are enough to make me go, you know what? Mama's right. I ain't going out in the swamp tonight. Because have you ever been chased by a water moccasin?
No,
I have.
No, thank you. I mean, I've encountered water moccasins. I've encountered copperheads. I don't, like, I was at a safe distance. You know, you do the whole, I'm gonna back away or stomp or whatever.
No. Here's the thing about water moccasins. They Leroy Jenkins everything in their fucking life. So the one time I met one at Boy Scout camp, it decided that I was its bitch for 150 feet. I don't know. It might have been 150 feet. I ran for a hot minute as a little kid. And I'm probably exaggerating it now because little kid, like...
Oh, no. Like, when you're a little kid, that goes...
Like, I ran for a fucking millennia.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get into what is the Rougarou. Okay, so we said it is... I think we've rambled for a bit, but we said it is the Cajun werewolf. But the main thing about it is that it's not... Because there isn't really wolves in Louisiana... It's actually kind of taking on a nature that is a little bit different. For one, a lot of the shape-shifting qualities of it, in terms of lycanthropy, have been more dog-like. For instance, the big tail with the Rougarou is the fact that it is a dog that might harass someone until you attack it.
So what you're telling me is that the Rougarou could just be a big-ass Catahoula cur.
Yeah, it just might be a Catahoula cur, or it might be a mutt that's, like, harassing you.
Artax is the Rougarou.
Artax, I hope he's not the Rougarou. I think he's a little bit dumb to be the Rougarou.
No. The person who became the Rougarou that is now your Artax might not have been that bright. He's still a Rougarou.
I got Artax when he was, like, an itty-bitty baby. Like, an itty-bitty pupper. Like, so... I don't know.
You never sent that itty bitty pupper to school, so why are you surprised that this possible Rougarou is not that bright?
Oh, damn it. Louisiana public school system strikes again.
Hey, that's why the Rougarou can't count past 12.
That's true. Okay, so we talked about the wolf aspect, and there are other things that the Rougarou is said to turn into.
Tell me about him. Tell me what the Rougarou can turn into.
Well, so one... Obviously, the skunk ape is something that shows up. Like, there is obviously going to be, like, a little bit of a parallel between giant Bigfoot-like creature and...
Large bipedal beast man type situation.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of that, but also there's a little bit of mixture into Native American tales, which we're not going to get too far into because I don't feel comfortable doing that, but...
Well, I mean, we'd have to do a whole lot more research to give that the respect that it deserves.
Obviously, yeah. A white rabbit is known.
So the trickster?
Yeah, so it's like from like the cursory research I did. Like I couldn't spend too much time with this, but from the research I did, like the rabbit was a big one. You also had ones where it was like a headless person. There was ones where it was a tree. Just any sort of animal you would find in the swamp, you would see it. There is a...
yes, the great natural Louisiana creature of the headless swamp man.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, like, the thing is with the Rougarou is that it takes up any sort of lore or legend and kind of absorbs it. Which, one of the things I find interesting about it. It's kind of a catch-all Cajun folktale. Like, a lot of people say it's like a Cajun werewolf, which one of the reasons why we decided to do this podcast is because of the Rougarou. And, like, seeing it as a footnote, we talked about this before, but people kind of just, like, you talk about lycanthropy, you talk about werewolves, you talk about, like, wolfmen, and then, like, there's a little footnote right there that says Rougarou. It's like, Rougarou is a lot more than that. And it has a lot more flavor than people let on.
True, but let's be fair. In Louisiana, unless it involves the Saints, we're used to being ignored. Or our politicians getting caught in a scandal.
Yeah, we're
Middle of two of those.
Okay, things that are known in Louisiana. Cajun culture.
Sort of.
Zydeco music.
Yeah.
Food.
100%.
Corrupt politicians.
Loud, corrupt politicians.
Yeah,
We had one that when he got caught with $1 million in a deep freezer under a deer carcass, as he said he liked to keep his assets frozen.
That's true. We're
Also, we had a governor that fell in love with a stripper. Not to...
You know, a long time ago, I was looking at moving to Illinois, and they were like, "Yeah, our politicians are corrupt," and I'm like,
Did you ever have a politician that was committed to an insane asylum, but because they were still governor, fired the head of it because it was a state-run facility, hired someone else to say they had a clean bill of health, then continue to have an affair with a stripper from Texas, which I'm not disparaging sex workers, but let's just say Uncle Earl walked around without pants on more than once, and it wasn't just with her, and it was in the governor's mansion while he was having meetings because that man had dementia.
we have. Okay, so let's dial it back here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're more going into Louisiana history than we are into Louisiana lore.
I mean, we could talk about Louisiana politicians for like a whole other podcast.
Which might be their own cryptid.
God damn it. Okay.
I'm not wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong, but we're here for the Rougarou. So, the Rougarou has many forms, but we always know the form is a wolf-like form. Now, the thing is, it's not always like a wolf man, like, you know, guy covered in fur, you know, all that.
We're going back more towards the traditional werewolf, where they're more of that they're a human that turns into a canid.
Yeah, it's that. And if it's going to be like a bipedal sort of creature, it's just going to be like a normal looking man, if a little bit hairier, with like a wolf head.
Okay, you're talking... Oh, we're going like old school lycanthrope.
Yeah, so there's that, and there's the one you talked about, which is like, it just turns into like a wolf. In this case, it would be a dog.
A wolf.
It would turn into a dog because, again, we do not have wolves in Louisiana. We do have foxes, but that's besides the point.
We used to have buffalo. Oh, God, a were-buffalo would be terrifying.
There is one thing about the Rougarou that is that people often talk about that is pervasive through everything, which is red eyes. Which is, of course, every fucking creature in the swamp has some sort of eye shine that is either red to orange.
I mean,
yellow.
that's just the retina.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, it has red eyes. Except for the headless one. I don't know.
It has red eyes, but they're in a different place.
Yeah, you're like...
We're hitting into Junji Ito territory with that one.
Yeah, you're like, oh, where's the head? And then it's behind you, and it's like a Crusoe or a Crusoe or whatever it is.
Or like a Doulahan.
Yeah. But, so what do you know about the lore in terms of what is... Like, okay, so we went over, like, the appearance, but do you know anything about, like, the lore of the Rougarou as a creature?
Oh, I mostly know it from boogeyman stories from folks down south. I don't know a lot of the actual lore. I mean, the main thing I looked into, and it'll be whenever it fits in here or whenever you're done. You know, that sounds like an asshole line. But whenever, like, I mostly looked into its forebear in France.
Okay, so let's go over like the forebear in France real quick.
Yeah, okay. So let's see. This comes from the internationalwerewolf.com and a couple other like Nat Geo and a few other places like it. Seriously, finding like the internationalwerewolf.com online made me laugh because it still had like the old school like geo sites look. But the Loup-Garou, which you can see Loup-Garou turning into Rougarou.
Very easily.
Very easy, because Cajun French is the best.
Yes, Cajun France.
Cajun France.
We've taken over France. It's ours, boys.
You think Knox would not do that right now if he had the option?
Oh, I would help him.
Oh, I'd love to. There's like if we could take over France and just like make it just Cajun-topia and let Europe know what frickin' jambalaya is. Okay, I'm gonna say this: if we could introduce Europe to actual fucking Mexican food.
No.
Anyway, back to the point. Loup-Garou is just a French werewolf. And for the most part, they were a cursed man. And I think this might go over into the Rougarou. Like, it's just a dude that got cursed. Let's compare notes here. Did the curse last about 101 days?
The curse lasted 101 days or a year and a day.
I like that one. That is a very Fey thing for a year and a day. So, okay. You could get cursed to be a Loup-Garou by making a Loup-Garou bleed.
That is a big thing in Rougarou lore. The biggest thing is what you would see with the Rougarou is that it would take the form of a dog and harass someone on the street. So it would go up to you, start barking at you, trying to bite you, and when you tried to attack it or drew blood, it would turn back into a person and be like, yo, you can't speak about this for 101 days or a year and a day. And then fuck off.
So you get Babadooked.
You get Babadooked, and then you're just sitting there like, oh God, I can't talk about this. And then you're going to have like nightmares and shit. And you're going to worry about, you're just going to have the anxiety about, you know, dealing with the fact that like a dog turned into a person, which is now, you know, is a Rougarou.
Let's legit put this like, okay, let's like from a horror movie fan standpoint, we would write that off as bullshit.
Yeah.
However, think about it from a normal person perspective. Like that dog became a dude and walked off until you can't talk about this. That's going to make you a little crazy. Like, yeah. I feel like if we're playing Call of Cthulhu, that's all right, roll a d4. That's how much sanity you lose. Now, the next thing is reasons to become a Rougarou. You could be a bad Christian.
Well, bad Catholic.
Yeah, you're right. You could not confess at Easter and become a Loup-Garou.
Well, the thing is, it's like, it's a little bit more obscure from what I saw with the when it comes to being like a bad Catholic. It's either not be a faithful Catholic, which is very vague, or the biggest one is breaking Lent or not following Lent for 7 years. Oh shit,
then we're both Rougarous.
Yeah, we're both Rougarous now. Like, I mean, I wasn't Catholic to begin with, but you know.
Me either, but like not tangential. I use that word too much. Like distant. I am the heathens that got accepted as sort of like legit being raised Protestant. But okay, other ways to become a Loup-Garou. So we've established if you draw blood.
Yeah.
We have established if you don't confess at Easter, if you're just in general bad Christian or Lent. If someone like walked out of the woods and handed you a wolf belt.
Yeah, that's not on my list. I just love the fact that there's someone that's like, here, wear this wolf belt.
This is technically considered a Hexen wolf.
Wear this Hexen wolf belt.
Well, no,
it's gonna make you look.
I think Hexen wolf is actually a German phrase, but it's one of the oldest versions of lycanthropy, named after King Lycan. From what the dude who fed Zeus like a dead person, and Zeus is like, "Bruh, I am the king of the gods, and you fed me a people. Fuck you, you're a wolf now."
Wow, this goes. Okay, so it is kind of weird how we can trace this legend from where we live in Louisiana all the way to Greece.
Well, here's the thing: is
and probably before.
Well, here's the thing: is even all the way back to Proto-Indo-Europeans. If you go back in most myths. There is a shifter, and one of the scariest things for us, because it was our natural predator for so damn long, was a wolf. The other one's a snake, which is probably where we get dragons from. But let's see. Let's see. Yeah, there was curse. You could be cursed.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you could be cursed. This is another vague one on the Louisiana side, which is witchcraft. Yeah. Or crossroad.
Oh, and we're going to talk about crossroads later. I got some thoughts.
Yeah, so, like, crossroads are a big thing in the South, as well as witchcraft. Like, I think, well, I mean, even outside of voodoo.
Yeah, well, I did an audio story for Knox that got put into an audio book. Rougarous can be created by a powerful witch, and they use them as a tool. But... No, let's see. So you can get bitten by one. Wait, we're used to that with werewolves. You get bitten by a werewolf, you become a werewolf.
And that's a thing in this one. Obviously, easy peasy one.
Let's see. Another one. Sleeping outside on Wednesday or Friday.
I didn't see that in the curse lore here.
Apparently, like, I don't know if a tent counts, but like if you go camping on a Wednesday or Friday, you can become a Loup Garou.
We've gone camping on Friday.
Yeah, we ain't turning into wolves.
Okay, so we're not Rougarous. So
there's a special Italian beer that could turn you into one. I wouldn't mind finding that just to see if it tastes good or not.
I mean, if anyone has it, let us know.
You could drink foot water.
We're not drinking that.
You could totally get the internet influencer wolf's foot water and turn into if you drink water out of a wolf's footprint. Is how that one goes.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
You could also drink magical wolf goo.
Wolf goo.
Okay, I wrote it down like that because it sounds funny. You could get a potion to do this. You could find a werewolf potion.
That doesn't make it sound better.
A werewolf potion versus wolf goo does neither one's or here's one. Satan.
Okay, so Satan, I mean, Catholicism. Satan pops up. Yeah, sure. Satan is kind of on my list, but vaguely. Again, like the thing is, what I've noticed when I was researching this, it's kind of like a vague notion of like, and I'm just gonna go back to my personal experience when it comes to like what I know about the Rougarou. It's the fact that the Rougarou was more of a boogeyman for me. It was not like a curse, which was what initially made me interested in doing this. It was actually pretty surprising to see that this was a curse sort of thing, but also not in the way I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a normal lycanthropy thing. But again, like the biggest thing that you see with the Rougarou is if you fuck with like a wild animal that's fucking with you, you decide to attack it. That is the thing that gets you. That's a big thing, which goes back to the idea of this being like a cautionary tale. Don't fuck with wild animals that might be acting with.
Right, but it also hits that kind of thing, and I don't know if it was Babadook or It Follows. Was that the movie It Follows?
Yeah, It Follows.
That you passed it on to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, here's the thing is, like, that's a modern tale. But the big thing is that if you can get, like, the concept of I'm cursed, I'm going to pass the curse on, that plays in a lot of things that kind of hits on like, it's a fear of even if I'm defending myself, I could have a issue.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. The curse itself always seems to have a idea where it is a cautionary. So in relation to the idea that a creature is pestering you, instead of like attacking it, you'll want to run away. This is something that you see with rabies. Okay, so with rabies, anything that is trying to attack you or like acting funny, obviously we know how dogs act. Any nocturnal creature that is out in the sunlight, we're like, why is it out? That's very suspicious. You don't fucking approach it.
Right.
This sort of legend kind of lends itself to that idea where don't fucking approach a dog that's trying to attack you. You get the fuck away from it, especially if it's acting funny or acting off. But let's go into how you protect yourself from a Rougarou. Do you have anything about the Lougarou?
Yeah, I got some remedies for the Loup Garou.
Well, I got some remedies for the Rougarou, and I think I should go first.
Yeah, that's fine. Because some of mine are pretty mild, all the way to murder.
Oh, that works.
Let's be fair. If there's like a throw salt at it and it goes away, that's fine. But like, let's look at vampires. I throw rice on the ground and it's handled for a minute because it's got OCD and it's got to count it. Or I have to stab it in the heart with an ashwood stake, cut its head off, shove a brick in its mouth, put its head into a river and let it drift into the ocean, and then burn the heart and drink the ashes. That's a strigoi. That is an elaborate dealing with a creature type bullshit.
Okay, so we've already gotten the put 13 of anything down. It likes 13 of anything?
No, I think it said it doesn't like 13 because it gets to 12 and has to recount.
Oh, it's the Louisiana education system.
Or it's a 12-hour day, or there were 12 apostles, I don't know.
It's one of those. But that is something the Lougarou has. Also, I have the colander. Colander on the door is a thing, you know, the holes and everything.
Oh man, there's so many holes in that. There's so many more than 12.
I mean, murder is definitely on the list on how to get rid of a Rougarou. But the thing is, when it comes to murder, look, okay. Listeners at home, don't murder a suspected Rougarou because one, it's a crime.
That's how you go to jail. That's how you go to Angola.
That's how you go to Angola and be like a fucking prisoner slave. And two, you know, that's not going to get rid of the Rougarou because you're going to be the Rougarou. Because, like, murdering a Rougarou just passes it on to you.
Okay, the way you're making this sound, Chris, is that if you're the Rougarou, you just want to be in the movie Battlefield Earth. That way when you die, you finally get peace.
I never... How do you know that much about the fucking Battlefield Earth movie? One of the big things to prevent the curse is putting a swamp leaf in your wallet.
That is very fey. That is very summer.
Well,
that's very Sealy.
Yeah, we already went with the whole year and a day or 101 days, which is a very fey thing where it's like very specific, oddly specific. Even with 101 days, it's not usually said in a way where it
usually says 101 day.
No. It's usually 100 days plus one.
Like, it's a weird contractual thing.
Yeah. And it's said in a way where it feels like you have to read it again to make sure you know what you're saying, or else you're going to be just swallowed in by something.
That's every contract with the Fae.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's that. Don't disbelieve in the Rougarou is a big one. Like, if you believe in the Rougarou, you're usually safe from the Rougarou. So, skeptics, you're dead. Don't come to Louisiana.
We need to make a horror movie off of that. Like, everybody that doesn't believe in the Rougarou are the ones who are getting tapped. But there's like that one dude, the Rougarou's real, and he don't get killed.
Yeah, he's just like, I see them red eyes out there. I'm good. Y'all have fun. And
let's be fair. If we were to cast a movie like this, the guy who played Finn in Star Wars... He's the one that's like, yo, the Rougarou's real. Y'all don't need to mess with that. And then a bunch of fucking white people.
Here's the thing I'm going to say. It depends on what you're talking about, because if it's a bunch of people like me and you go out into the woods, it's like, you know, the Rougarou isn't real, but we're going to go out there and see. And then we see some red eyes and, you know...
that shit's real.
It's like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to test this. Again, Louisiana skeptic. Not going out there.
Oh no, I don't believe that the Lalaurie Mansion is haunted. I ain't going in it.
Yeah, it's like the Rougarou probably isn't real, but I'm not going to sit here and test it. I'm not going to sit here and like throw a middle finger out into the swamp into Arcadiana and be like, "Fuck you, Rougarou, eat my dick," and then
because it would.
Yeah, and suddenly I'm dead. And my viscera is everywhere, and my mom is gonna be like, "Oh, Chris, what the fuck did you do?"
And I'm over here going, "I'm sorry. He just decided not to believe in the Rougarou. I saw it coming. I was like, Chris, it's real. It's real." And he's like, "Nah, it's not. Nah, it's not." And the Rougarou looked at me and go, "Shh," and then Chris was gone.
Yeah, that would be my fate. That would be the end of the Chris story right there. But yeah, that is the protection from the Rougarou right there. Again, like simple stuff. We have some vampire-like things in here with the rice and the beans. But
let's be fair, though, the reason those things always pop in those type of stories is because everybody in South Louisiana got rice and beans.
Yeah, true.
I got rice and I'm not in South Louisiana, and I got rice and beans right now.
But the thing is, again, with the curse, it's kind of obscured on what it actually is.
Well, isn't that the best part of a scary story is you have no clue what happened?
Well, the thing is, it's like, I think the point of the Rougarou is to try and get people, or kids specifically, to understand that there are certain things that will harm you and that you need to be aware of. So when it comes to the curse of the Rougarou, okay, so don't go out there and like if there's something messing with you, if there's a wild animal out there being aggressive, don't engage with it. When it comes to the Catholic faith, be good on Lent. Make sure to show up to Mass, things like that. The colander on the door or things like the 13 coins and everything might just be more of a superstition thing, but it also shows
It's also doable is the big thing.
yeah, it's also a thing that you can say, hey, go do that, make sure it's done, now we're safe. It gives something for kids to do in order to make them feel a little bit safer, and it also puts a little bit of fear in them to not go out into the woods and fuck off and accidentally kill themselves.
Which, to be fair, is easy to do in a swamp.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we don't live in the swampiest area, but there are swamps around here where
200 yards is a swamp.
yeah, like you could definitely easily drown or get swallowed up by something here.
Break an ankle or a knee walking through cypress knees.
Oh, I forgot to say, one of the things that you can contract the curse to, and I kind of missed it because it's just such a silly one, but if you look into the eyes of a Rougarou.
You gotta love that, like, Medusa-esque Gorgon stare werewolf.
Yeah, so I didn't really, I kind of overlooked it just because it's kind of silly. That is one of the ways to become a Rougarou if you're coming face to face with the Rougarou and you just stare at it. That's one of them. I have to assume that's born out of anxiety.
Well, it's not just that. It's like, if there is an animal that is aggressive to you, making direct eye contact with them is not always a great idea.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
Because, like, with humans, eye contact can mean something along the lines of respect. With other animals, direct eye contact, or even, like, we smile to show each other affection. So, you know, like, you show your teeth to something else. Oh, shit. You know, maybe we can direct eye contact with certain creatures is kind of that way. Because I know with dogs, it can go either way with a lot with stray dogs. Because I got some in this neighborhood. And there's some of them, you make direct eye contact and they're like, all right, I'm doing the math. You're bigger than me. I'm backing off. There was one dog in this neighborhood for a while that it decided he made eye contact with you. You're its itch. You're its itch, and it's going to take care of you.
Oh Lord!
That one was taken by that one was picked up by the Humane Society. But I've got some remedies for a Loup-Garou.
What remedies do you have?
A good mama scolding. If you scold the Loup-Garou hard enough, especially if it's the mother or a female blood relative of the Loup-Garou, if you scold it hard enough, it will stop being a werewolf.
So you just gotta be like, stop it.
All three names, stop being a werewolf.
Yeah.
Next one, that's exhaustion. So you could take the wolfie for walkies until it can't wolfie no more.
Okay, so exhaustion. Anyone can die from exhaustion. Though.
It's not. It doesn't kill them. If you take a Loup-Garou and you walk them too hard, they'll go back to being human because they don't have enough energy to wolf it. Too many calories. I mean, also the Loup-Garou is not like the bipedal wolf man that we know of. A Loup-Garou is you turn into a straight up wolf with a human mentality. Let's see other ones. Wolfbane. Someone get the wolfbane in your face. You get a priest to do an exorcism.
Okay, so basic stuff.
Let's move to moderate. You put nails through their hands and put them onto a tree.
Okay, so wait, nails through the like crucifying? Or?
No. Like you put right hand down, left hand down, and nail them to the side of a tree. And you do it. You have to do it above the head.
That's gonna kill anybody.
Well, it's not gonna kill them. It's just like, here's the deal. You put a nail, and I'm talking like not like the nice nails we have now. We're talking about the
not the fucking liberal nails.
No, I'm talking about the pyramidal nails of the old days, like the ones that were like a good quarter of an inch at the base, at the rounded knot that was the tail end of it, and so it just had four layers that went into the side of the damn thing. if it went all the way through, you hammered it flat, so like you made a fucking rivet out the bitch. Yeah, you could do that. You could like pseudo crucify them.
That seems
silver bullets, silver sword, or a silver weapon. Sometimes it has to be ancestral silver, so like you turn mama's earrings into a musket ball. Or we could get to the really extreme one. You stab someone in the forehead with a knife.
Again, we're talking about things that will kill you anyway.
But yeah, you could straight up stab someone in the forehead with a knife, and that would cure their werewolfism.
For some reason, I'm just picturing this as like a butter knife. Just someone that's just like...
You know, I feel like someone in Florida attempted this, because remember there was Excaligator in the news for a while, the alligator that in Florida that had a freaking like Bowie knife sticking out of his forehead. It's like if you draw the knife from the Excaligator, you become the king of Florida.
I didn't know about this, but
you know what? It's really hard to say this doesn't track.
There is nothing in, from what I saw, that was like that. Nothing as extreme as what you decided to bring to the table.
Well, that's because the Loup Garou is an old, like going back to the medieval era stories. And medieval solutions a medieval problem requires a medieval solution. And they are extreme by today's standards.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like, when it comes to the solution for the Rougarou, it's mostly just don't talk about it.
Right. So, tell me about any sightings, any encounters with the Rougarou.
Are you attacking me right now?
No.
Well, the thing is,
I'm not saying you personally. I'm talking about like, do you have any?
Okay, so here's the thing. We've talked about. You got to see this picture of this nice Rougarou that I have a picture of from
IKEA. It's an IKEA rug.
No, it's not an IKEA rug. It was like from 1993.
To be fair, that is good for 93 technology. Like 93 didn't have the internet. 93 didn't have computer. Okay, 93 did have computer games.
In the 90s, a woman in De Ridder took a picture of some roadkill, which was an unidentified body of a creature. A lot of people call it the Rougarou. I'm looking at it. It is a very, very unidentified creature.
It's a black bear.
It could be a black bear. It could be a Malamute. It could be a Mastiff. It could be a...
It could be the black rug from IKEA that they use for all the night watch capes.
Okay, I'm looking at it. It could be a black bear, actually. It actually looks like a picture. Okay, am I the only one seeing this? It looks like it could be a picture from, like, Texas or some shit, because that doesn't look like...
Well, here's the deal. That could be the side of a Louisiana road. That could be the side of any road. But it's kind of like the picture of the rake that circulates even around today after 15 freaking years of that image being created. Like, I caught this on my trail cam in South Louisiana. I caught this on my trail cam in Barcelona, Spain. I'm like, do you have trail cams in Barcelona, Spain?
Yeah. But the thing is, there is a lot of roadside, quote unquote, encounters with the Rougarou, obviously, because there's a lot of people traveling, and then they see something on the road, and obviously they go to the first thing in their head. There's a road down south past Homa called Bayou Sally Road. It's Highway 57. It's called the most haunted road in Louisiana, but it's also known for sightings of the Rougarou.
So you're saying road trip?
Yeah, someday we got to do a road trip. I don't know how I feel about going that far down south, but we'll see.
I'm on it.
I'm good for it. The road connects Dulac to Chauvin, Louisiana. Okay, for anyone that isn't from the south, that's basically you're in the water. You're surfing at that point.
You have a fan boat.
You are just in wetland. There's nothing
wetland.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice areas. People are probably good. Like, I'm not going to disparage it. But yeah, that road, like a lot of, quote, haunted roads, is pretty windy. I looked at it on Google Maps, and it's a little bit more open than it used to be.
No, they've cleared out the sides of it.
Well, it's not just that. Unfortunately, it's
A couple hurricanes.
Well, it's that far south to have a problem with.
Oh, ocean reclamation.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that area that's been reclaimed by the ocean, or by the Gulf, I should say. So it's not as swampy as it used to be down there, unfortunately. Support conservation, people. But yeah, aside from that, there are a lot of roadside stuff, like a man who saw a calf on the road that turned into a person. That is a thing.
So the Rougarou can turn into a cow?
Well, we already established that the Rougarou can be anything.
But that's
a Rougarou
true.
can be a tree. The Rougarou can be a headless person. The Rougarou can be a rabbit. It can be a fox. It can be...
Well, hold on. Does that mean the Rougarou could be a Bucky's?
The Rougarou is a Bucky's.
All right, that's canon now, y'all. Chris just made it canon. The Rougarou is a Bucky's.
The Rougarou is just... It's actually the embodiment of Bucky's, which is weird because Bucky's is known for Texas, actually.
So hold on, that means like you're in the swamp. I'm saying boy, do you believe in me? Yes, sir. Here's some beef and nuggets, and then just walks away. Oh my god, that's the most terrifying thing is we made Bucky into a cryptid and made it a game.
So closing thoughts.
Well, hold on. I got a sighting of the Loup-Garou.
Oh, you got a sighting of the Loup?
Yeah, I got a sighting.
I am so sorry. Go ahead.
You've heard of this because we've watched Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about
The
now.
Beast of Gévaudan. I got most of this information from Nat Geo. In 1764, you had Jeanne Bolette, and she was attacked by a wolf. She survived, but there were more frequent attacks over 3 years. 100 confirmed kills. So whatever this thing is, it had 100 confirmed kills over 3 years.
Jeez Louise.
Wolves got blamed because, of course, Europe's going to blame wolves. Because why wouldn't we blame wolves? They're our oldest adversaries other than the snake. And for the most part, snakes aren't that giganimous.
Yeah.
Have you seen a wolf?
Yeah, at the very least, a wolf is going to have friends, and...
Well, it's not even that. Let's just take a single wolf. Like, I am just under or at 6 foot if I stand up straight, and depending on the gas station I walk out of.
Yeah.
A wolf's shoulders are almost at my hip.
Yeah, so a wolf is pretty scary.
And I went to Celtic Fest today, and they had wolf hounds, and somebody had like a standard wolf hound, and that little sweet, sweet baby girl just loved on me and was like just shy of my hip and such a wonderful... And then someone else brought a full wolf hound. That Bocephus is what I'm naming that one. And that one's shoulders were above my hips. Like, he was a big boy. And he was solid. Like, Emily goes, "You still want one of those?" Yes. She goes, "That is literally bigger than me." And I go, "It can be a battle mount for children." No, actually, it can't. Never put a child on a wolfhound. They're very skinny, kind of like a greyhound. But I love those dogs so much. But they have so many health issues because they're so big.
Yeah.
Anyway, more to the thing is that wolves get blamed. Gévaudan is in southern France. It's poor. Mostly at a herding society. So of course they're going to blame wolves because who
else is out there?
Who is the shepherd's worst enemy? A wolf. So it became a national story. So by 1767, Jean Castel killed a wolf, a very unusual wolf, a red-haired wolf, a large, misshapen wolf. Now, here's the deal. Might not have been when they taxidermied it. Someone might have taken some liberties, like how we got the jackalope. Or any of the other frightful creatures in North America, like the alligator that has one leg shorter than the other so they can walk on the side of mountains.
Huh.
Now, most people were sad. Most people were like, eh. But there's a whole number of people like, nah, fuck that. No. A red-haired wolf did not do this by itself because wolves don't operate by themselves. So they sent this taxidermy creature to the King of France. The King of France goes, yes. I don't know. They're like, oh, we.
I like how you at first were like, yes, like as if they were British.
I'm sorry if you ever want me to do a pompous voice, it's gonna be slightly bad British, like yeah, or it might be like New Hampshire / like Newport, like oh yeah, turns into Scooby. Rich people are just Scooby. I'm not paying my workers right. That's my Scooby snack. Anyway, so most people felt this creature couldn't be a regular wolf. They felt like it had to be supernatural. So, of course, werewolf. So they blamed a werewolf, and so people started carrying silver, and they said a silver bullet was what was shot by Castell to kill this creature. I watched the movie. It was Bone Sword.
It was like that bone sword from like Soul Calibur.
It was like Ivy's first bone. It was Ivy's training sword that Cervantes gave her for the very beginning.
How did you know that?
Cervantes is Ivy's dad. I've known that since Soul Edge.
I can't remember these things. It makes me worried about my own memory.
No, I remember way too much about that game, especially something like 101 centimeters.
Oh my god. Okay, so...
Thank you, Namco. Anyway, also, here's the deal. Was it a wolf? Maybe, but here's the deal that most people believe. This is probably the most logical explanation for the Beast of Gévaudan. Is that it was an escaped...
Wait. Spoilers.
But it's not the movie.
Oh, is it not the movie?
No, the movie had like some weird...
Spoilers.
The movie had like some weird Samael creature.
No, the movie had spoilers. Lion.
Well, it wasn't just it was a lion. It also had weird quills out of its back. It wasn't a normal lion. Spoilers.
Anyway,
there's a good chance it was a juvenile male lion that was left unattended.
God damn it.
There's a good chance that the Beast of Gévaudan was a juvenile male lion that escaped from a sideshow, or actually escaped from a noble's menagerie, and no one knew how to deal with a 800-pound apex predator feline. Because Europe, mostly because they killed them all off, doesn't have a big cat.
Why are we saying spoilers anymore?
Spoilers. And this actually loops into another thing that might be fun, because I don't want to lose the last of my European notes. That there is a good chance that a lot of lore for, like, here's the deal. You can't kill the Loup-Garou. You mentioned it, the Loup-Garou passes the curse on, but you can't kill a Loup-Garou.
Yeah. Well, in Rougarou fashion...
I'm sorry, not Loup-Garou, Rougarou. You can't kill the Rougarou necessarily, right?
Well, it's similar, yeah, because the Rougarou is a curse.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like Freddy. You can't kill Freddy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the Rougarou is not a serial killer that haunts your dreams, but he is someone that is they are someone that is around constantly, kind of monitoring you, and whatever you do when you encounter the Rougarou will influence how you act in the future.
It kind of seems like whatever you do is how the Rougarou affects you.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, is the Loup-Garou, and I feel this extends to the Rougarou because you can't kill the Rougarou, is the idea of the Revenant, or maybe a ghoul, but really more of a revenant. Like, the Greeks thought with any type of lycanthrope, you can't kill them. Like, you could totally, like, all right, I killed it. 2 days later, awoo. And so what you were supposed to do is completely destroy the body, like take the head, throw it in a river, burn the body type stuff. But this idea that you can't kill something, like, even if you did this some of the myths from Greeks, like, you could do this to it, it will eventually come back. It's just going to take it a minute because you burned its body, you threw its head in the ocean. It's got to deal with Poseidon deciding to fight its head for no reason because he was just freaking mad about not getting to have horses that day.
Poseidon's just sitting there like, why'd you throw this fucking head in here? It has a brick in the mouth. What the fuck are you doing?
Punch. By the way, if anybody has not read Greek myths, Poseidon is ready to throw down at all times. That's why I always call him Broseidon. He's an MMA fighter at heart. Anyway, like, the idea that you can't destroy it leans into what you're saying about the Rougarou, because you can pass the curse on, you can keep it away from you, but there's not a way to actually destroy it. There's not a way to get rid of it. That's kind of interesting because the best movie monsters don't die. Like, how many times has Jason Voorhees come back? I don't know. I'm younger than the first movie. Hold on. Yeah, I think I am, right? Am I older than Friday the 13th?
The first movie came out in 1979, I believe.
That's not Friday the 13th. What was the first movie called with Jason?
It's Friday the 13th.
Okay, for some reason I thought no, that was Nightmare on Elm Street for Freddy.
Yeah.
So I'm old. Like, okay, let's be honest. Like the longest running movie monsters right now that most people know, I'm older than.
1980 is.
Okay, so I am younger than the first from the first Jason movie. But in any case, there's not an explanation to a lot of that. In the first, like the second one, there's not an explanation of why he comes back, and that's the best thing about the Rougarou to me. Is this is a boogeyman. You can't kill it. You don't know why it's there. Don't mess with it because then you become it. And that's great. That's terrifying.
So, what are your final thoughts on the Rougarou?
I believe in it, so it won't kill me.
Yeah, I believe in it. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So it won't kill you?
It won't kill me.
This is our one defense. But no, I think it's a great cautionary tale, and that it hits so many of the right notes to be successful for a boogeyman.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, it fits in with a lot of things that it's something that was a cautionary tale, which is something I enjoy when it comes to these stories, which is like, you don't want to deal with like certain creatures or certain animals because...
Right. I mean, they're dangerous. And like, here's the thing. Most dogs are tame today. Like, if you walk through a neighborhood, like today at the Celtic Festival, I went there. There's a ton of puppers that were well-trained, good puppers. But you still don't just randomly touch them. And you saw parents telling them, like, oh, no, you don't know that dog. And the thing is like, even though, like, you could have the best pupper ever, but all of a sudden someone walks up and grabs a tail or tries to touch them in the face, they get bit because what's the dog going to do? Defend itself. And I get that because especially, like, back in the day when a stray dog or a wild dog was not that uncommon in a town, I guess, or a village. It's a good cautionary tale to make sure that kids don't walk up and, like, because here's the deal. Puppy. I am nearly 40, and the millennial in me still, every time I see a dog, including one snarling at me, is, oh, puppy.
Yeah, I had a really nice dog come up to me, and like just the other day, because I walk on my breaks now. For exercise reasons, I walk on my break.
Right.
And this dog came up to me, and I was like, don't touch me. And half like, oh my God, I just want to like sit here and pet the fucking dog.
Okay, look, somebody today, while I was in line to, like, at first I thought I was going to get Flying Heart, # great beer. But they didn't have any, so I'm in line for beer, and all of a sudden, this one lady has 2 huskies, and one of them literally puts its snoot in my pocket. I'm like, I want to pet you. I want to love on you, because you're the size category of dog that I love. But I don't know you. And so I'm not going to touch you, because that's the logic part of me, but the other part, puppy.
Yeah, it just part of you, like, it's like that kid part of you that really just wants to sit down and pet, like, really big dogs. But this sort of cautionary tale tells you, despite that, you need to, like, be very cautious of dogs like that because it might not turn out well for you.
Right. So, I mean, the big thing with the Rougarou is that it hits every keynote of a fairy tale.
Yeah.
I gotta say this, man. Thank you for bringing this one up.
Yeah, no, it has been fun. I hope, you know, it's been rough trying to get everything set up. Not necessarily like a bad rough, but you know.
Well, I mean, we're still figuring this out.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just started to figure out how to use a mixer.
Oh my God, we are.
We are babes in the woods.
We are babes in the woods trying to figure out things for the first time. But
anyway, again, dude, thank you for bringing this up. This is I wouldn't have picked this topic.
But like in the future, hopefully we can go into other things like the Honey Island monster. Maybe
maybe Skunk Ape.
We have some good ideas.
We do. And if you're listening to us on whatever podcatcher you're listening to, somewhere here in the near future, some of the other podcasts we're connected to through Team Bonus Action, a charity role-playing group we're involved in, should be up sometime soon because I am currently working on converting a lot of those into podcast worthy audio. But you can also find us at Team Bonus Action on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. You can also find us at our website, teambonusaction.com. You can also find us on Twitter at bonus_team. And you can find us on Blue Sky and Threads, right? Threads?
Threads.
Where
I'm still
action. Anyway, thank y'all very much for tuning in, and bon nuit.